vibration. And I release these words and let it be. And so it is. This morning, I wanted to talk about embracing all of our humanity. All of it. The good, the bad, the ugly. And I often say, we're a spiritual being having this human experience. And we're all on this journey called life. And we don't always like how life shows up for us. But I'm here to remind us today to embrace all of it. Because our soul chose to be here during this time and space and having the experiences that it is. All of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 16 to 18 says, "Rejoice always, pray continuously, and give thanks in all circumstances." All circumstances, for this is God's will for you. How do we get on that level? To rejoice always, to pray continuously, and to give thanks in all circumstances. All circumstances? That's hard. But like everything that is initially hard, it takes practice to get better so that it's not that hard anymore. Do you think we can ever get to that space where we can give thanks for all circumstances? And the practice here is to train our thoughts and mindset to be positive, progressive, filled with love and compassion. That's how we're going to embrace all circumstances and embrace all of our humanity. And it's not just about being happy and chirpy all the time, although I like to be happy and chirpy all the time. But it's about keeping our emotional frequency elevated so that we can rejoice always and give thanks in all circumstances. It's about appreciating the journey that we all came here to experience. As an individual and as a collective. Embracing our humanity means that we are grateful for our blessings and our progresses, and we are aware and we accept our limitations and the difficulties we are faced with on this journey. We work on the things that we can change, ourselves, our environment, and we accept the things and circumstances that are out of our control. Time, other people, the economy, etc. Embracing our humanity is not about pretending that everything is perfect. Because I've said it, if you want a perfect life, die and go to heaven. We're not pretending that everything is perfect, but we accept things as they are, because we know that they are working in divine right order and together for our good. So instead of fighting with what's happening, we're choosing to go with the flow peacefully, co-creating our desires with the divine, facing the tough stuff along the way, and figuring out how to handle them with grace and how to overcome them. Life is not a piece of cake, and we all got stuff to deal with. So today I would like to share a process about how we can approach these hard stuff. A lot of these hard stuff also come up around the holidays, so this may be a good time. With family, those can be some of the hard, difficult situations that we have to deal with. When everything is going well in our lives, it's easy to rejoice always and give thanks for all circumstances. But when difficulty arises, that's sometimes a whole other can of worms. Maybe you're having a difficult time with a family member or a co-worker. Maybe you've made a mistake, hit a roadblock, have some financial difficulties, health challenges, or received some form of negative criticism. It can be hard, but rejoice always. Pray continuously. Come on, breathe. And give thanks in all circumstances. Because what I know is that God never gives us more than we can bear. And if God takes us to it, God can also take us through it. Trust and believe. When difficulty arises, we need to give ourselves time and space to process what has happened. And I know in this philosophy, a lot of us sometimes do that spiritual bypass. You know, we don't want to face this situation, but we're affirming something else, you know, something higher. And yes, that is good, but sometimes we have to take the time to process what has happened. And ideally for processing, we want to be in a safe environment, and we want to replay the situation and allow our self-awareness to separate us from the situation. Maybe you looked at the situation like you're watching a movie. I'm having this experience, but that is not who I am. We want to pay attention to our thoughts and our feelings. What's coming up for us in this situation? What kind of emotion is this situation pulling from within us? And this is a judgment-free zone. Because we're talking about healing and embracing all of it so that we can give thanks for it. These are valid experiences and valid feelings. And the empowered thing is to feel. And also to understand that that feeling and that emotion is a choice. So why did we make that choice to feel that way? I want to read something here from Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind. This one is the 1926 edition, which has so much more. Man began to realize that his conditions are controlled by his thoughts. In this way, man realizes that even his affairs are controlled by thoughts working through the avenue of the one mind. He discovered that by changing his thought, he could remold his affairs. And by right thinking, he could bring into his life new conditions. You have the power to choose a different thought in this hard, difficult situation. You can choose to respond from an elevated vibrational state or a lower vibrational state. As John Stringer just sang, you know, that higher self talking to the lower self. Dorothea shared this with us on Monday when she had her thing, and her thing by the library. And it just goes through the vibrational of emotional chart, the vibration of emotion chart. Where are you vibrating on this chart? Some of the higher levels are God consciousness, gratitude, appreciation, enlightenment, peace, love, reason, hope, optimism, willingness, and at the worst, neutrality. I prefer neutrality, especially when stuff is hard. Not prefer, but if stuff is hard, I prefer to be neutral than to be in one of these states on the lower end, which are pride, discouragement, blame, worry, doubt, anger, jealousy, fear, grief, guilt, insecurity, shame, powerlessness. Where are our feelings? Where do they lie on this vibrational chart? And we have the power to choose where they go on this chart. That's what I want to bring across today. The situation has happened, but we can choose where on this chart we're going to respond from. We have the power to choose. And as Ernest Holmes says, we mold our affairs by right thinking. We can choose to be upset, depressed, filled with fear, and recreate affairs that are according to those feelings. Or we can choose to be from an elevated state and recreate affairs from those feelings. Our affairs are controlled by our thoughts. And when we choose to respond from a low vibrational state, we are responding from blame and worry, fear. And those symptoms can sometimes express themselves in our bodies. We feel tightness in the chest, the shoulder, the neck. We're breathing rapidly. There's dis-ease, heaviness in the body, high blood pressure. And these can escalate to more chronic conditions if we don't change our thoughts. In a low vibrational state, everything around us seems chaotic, and nothing seems to be working out. Alternatively, we can choose to respond from a high vibrational state, such as love, willingness, courage, appreciation, faith, God consciousness. And some of the symptoms of the high vibrational state is feeling joy and happiness in the small things. You start attracting the right people and the right circumstances to assist you on this life journey. There is synchronicity around you. You feel safe and unbothered. You feel more filled with gratitude, and you can achieve your goals easier. You talk about the third eye opening. That's what happens when you're in that higher vibrational state. Less stress, you're lighter. Your body feels amazing and filled with energy. We are choosing. You can choose a higher vibrational state by first accepting the situation as what it is. It is what it is. That's me and my dad's favorite little thing. It is what it is. However we got here, it is what it is. We cannot change it. We cannot change the past. That's what brought us here, and we're here, and it is what it is. I accept this situation in my life. I needed it for my evolution. That's why it's occurring in my experience. It is what it is. And a step further is that I allow myself to reflect on this situation and address the root cause and the consciousness that brought me here. And now, having assessed the root cause and the consciousness, I can choose how I respond. Not react, take a breath, and respond. And at best, if you're not there with a higher consciousness, be neutral. And be straight up with spirit. God, I'm upset right now. This thing is, I'm feeling fear, I'm discouraged, I need your help. I will lift up my eyes to the hills from whence cometh my help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. Help me in this moment. This is how I'm feeling. I am in this state, and it feels yucky. Help me to rise to a higher vibrational state. Again from Ernest Holmes, page 31 in this edition. So man discovered that he could control his affairs by right thinking. He could bring into his experience the thing he wished to enjoy if he thought correctly. And since this was all in accordance with the law, he could do so consciously. He realized that the time would come when everyone would think correctly, and poverty, unhappiness, and all these lower vibration states would go from him and would be swept from the face of the earth. They were never intended to be, but man misused his power now. But now he understands that he could change his whole manner of thinking, and consequently, he could be happy and have plenty. So let's practice right thinking. It is what it is, and we thank the situation. We bless it. That's how we start to change, how we are feeling about this. Thank you. Thank you for the lesson that you have brought me to learn from this. Thank you for facilitating my greater expansion through this experience. And if there is someone else that is involved in the situation, thank them as well. Thank you for facilitating my expansion. Thank you for facilitating my growth. Thank you for helping me practice patience. Thank you that I have this low frequency state that I need to work on. I am made in the image and likeness of God. We are all made in the image and likeness of God. And as God expressing, we naturally and inherently vibrate at the higher frequency of love, gratitude, peace, joy, and an expanded God consciousness. But as Ernest Holmes says, we have given away our power. But let us embrace that power. Let's just embrace that power to choose love. The low vibrational frequency came up to show us something, to teach us how we need to grow. And we can affirm the opposite of that. I am love, I am peace, I am grateful. I embrace all of my humanity. And with that, I want us to do some practicing. My assistants, Marvin and Giovanni, they're going to be handing out a little worksheet. We're going to be working a little bit.
Come on.
Because I would like for us to practice what this really looks like in a situation. And when he's coming around, I want you to think of a situation something that's a little bit hard that you've had to deal with. Nothing too crazy. I mean, we're here to support you, but just think of something that's a little hard to deal with. Because I want us to practice going through what I just talked about. We have the power to choose. Think of your situation. What happened? Who did it? Whose fault was it? Think of the situation. And most importantly right now, I want you to check in with yourself without judgment and express, how did this situation make you feel? Give that emotion a name. And if it's a particularly hard situation, it's probably going to be one of these at one of the lower ends. Do you feel anger? Do you feel hatred, rage, jealousy, fear, grief? Tap into yourself. How did that emotion make you feel? Feeling your body. Where did you feel that emotion? If you're playing it again, it probably came right back up. I know I feel mine in my neck, my shoulders, Where in your body do you feel it? Is it a knot in your stomach, your throat? Need a pen, Kirby? It's bad news, so you gotta take a little tip off. Yeah. And then next, I want you to put there, how did you choose to respond based on that feeling? Did you let your rage come out? And it's okay, this is a judgment-free zone. We're working on embracing all of our humanity. Did you tell somebody a piece of your mind? Or did you just close down? Because you didn't want to tell them a piece of your mind. I know I cry when I'm holding back. Then next, I want us to think about what this situation has taught us. This is us going now up this vibrational emotion chart, and we're expressing gratitude, we're blessing the situation. It's a part of our experience, we bless it, it's a part of our journey on this thing called life. Part of the divine order. So we're blessing this situation. Thank you. Thank you for coming up and teaching me a lesson I had to learn in this life. How am I more aware because of this situation? What is something positive that came from this situation? We're blessing it. Thank you. Bless anyone involved. They're also on their own life's journey. know that you have the power to choose how you respond to this and all situations. You can choose love. Now from this higher, positive, expanded vibrational state, my empowered thoughts and feelings to this situation are, and hints of that is usually the opposite of what the lower vibrations were. I'm appreciative of this situation. I approach this with love and tenderness and compassion. Compassion for myself, compassion for a person that is involved. I respond with peace. I respond with clarity. And finally, the empowered and inspired response to this situation based on my higher vibrational state is, if it's a situation that's in the past, maybe replay how that could have gone if you were vibrating from that higher vibrational state. If it's something that you're still going through, just list how you're going to respond from a higher vibration state. If nothing comes, just say, God help me. Show me how I can respond from a higher vibrational state. How was that? Good? Can you see how you can respond differently? That it's always a choice to respond differently? Did you see that at least? It's a choice. And also that when we're in it and it's heated, it feels like we have no choice. But that's giving away our power because we do have choice. And I really hope that you'll use this activity. Hopefully it's useful in the future when you're just going through your stuff. And at least give you the awareness that I have the power to choose how I respond to this right now. I can choose from a low vibrational state and create the affairs of that, because thoughts are powerful. Or we can choose to respond from a higher vibrational state and create new affairs around that. Again, our thoughts are powerful and it creates our life. Life is going to be filled with ups and downs. And this activity is kind of supposed to help us, just to show us that we have the ability to adapt, to learn, and transform. And that is essential for our expansion as human beings. If we don't adapt, learn, and transform, we're going to be stuck, miserable, and short-changing our soul's mission. So let's choose positive, uplifting thoughts. Let's pray continuously. At the bottom here I said, I forgive myself of my shortcomings, and I allow the love and peace that I am to express as my thoughts, words, and actions. I embrace all of my humanity, the good, the bad, the ugly. I rejoice always, pray continuously, and give thanks in all circumstances. Doesn't seem that hard now, right? But it will take practice. But it's possible, right? All circumstances, right? It is. I think it is. But it's that practice of responding and giving ourselves the space to process, because we are going to go through stuff. But we have to give ourselves that space to process and choose powerfully. With that, let me anchor that in prayer. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for life and for all the way that it shows up and all the way that it doesn't show up. Because God, you are in it all. Spirit is in it all, in and through all things and all places at all times. And I remember this. Remember that we are one with Spirit. We are love. We are inherently and naturally love and light, because we are made in the image and likeness of God. We are peace. We are compassion, because God is peace and compassion. God lives and breathes and has his being in us. So we are that love and we are that compassion. And we remember this in all circumstances. All circumstances. That God is at play. Life is at play. The divine order is unfolding exactly as it should. So we don't fight against the currents of life. We don't struggle and swim upstream. We let go. We let go. And we allow ourselves to peacefully go with the flow. We allow ourselves to step away from the circumstances. We allow ourselves to examine how we are responding and to check ourselves and to powerfully choose. Reclaim our power to choose. We choose love. We choose light. In spite of what appears to be, we choose abundance. We choose freedom. We choose peace. We rejoice always. Because this is our lives unfolding. And we give thanks for this life. And we give thanks for all the experiences that call us to greater and greater expansion of ourselves. We celebrate life and all the way that it shows up. We give thanks for the strength of the love and the light and the peace that is within us to come forth in all situations. We give thanks for divine intelligence so that we can reason and we can see through stuff. We can look at the root cause We can check our consciousness. We can change our thoughts and beliefs. We can affirm something else if we're not okay with the situation or the solutions and the answers we're getting. We have the power to choose. We accept and embrace all of our humanity. We're so grateful for this life. We're so grateful for all of it that it shows up. We're so grateful for the blessings, the abundance, the peace, the love that it's filled with.